Hi, I'm Brad. Today we've got a video update on the SST transmission and how that works and performs inside the Mitsubishi Lancer Ralliart, and of course it also works inside the Mitsubishi Evo 10. That was one of the two transmissions that is available in the Evo 10 but not in the Ralliart. So if you've got a Ralliart, this is the transmission information you need to know about. What we're going to speak about in the next couple of minutes is some of the common fault codes that are appearing on these transmissions as they get older, and the one we're going to talk about today is the internal operating transmission pressure, or the line pressure as some people call it, and that will often trigger a fault code. Now what can also happen is when you get low pressure inside the transmission in an excessive situation, the clutch packs don't lock up properly because there's not enough pressure to keep them together, and you get excessive wear of the clutch packs. And then there are other mechanical ways that the transmission won't work properly, not to mention the fault code that appears on the dash of your car. So what we've got here apart is the Mechatronic unit. Now you might have seen in our other videos how this is all assembled together, and what you can see at the moment is this is the external plug that actually pokes out the front of the transmission that connects to the main harness, and this is the electronic part of it, and in the back here is the sensors that work as the proximity sensors for the magnets that are operating on the gear selector mechanism. Be sure to check out our video on that. And then what we've done is we've separated the actual valve assembly part from the actual main oil galleries part of the transmission Mechatronic unit. So these parts are all normally bolted together as one assembly. The gasket in between with this on top, and you can see all the bolts that hold it all together here. But what we're going to talk about today is this port in here, which is what controls and affects the line pressure. And you'll notice we've removed the piston out of this port here, and inside there normally is this spring that sits in there that pushes against the valve inside. And then what that normally also does in the Mitsubishi assembly, it's got a little aluminium cover that sits over the top that puts tension on that spring that controls the positioning of that valve inside. Now what happens is when you then put all that back together, this little circlip here then slides down inside there, and I'll get my cameraman to get up closer. You can see down inside there there's actually a gap which goes down, and that goes down inside there and locates inside this. Now what happens is over time this distorts because it's aluminium, and it allows the piston to actually extend out past the face of the valve body. So if you've got one of these apart and that end of that face is not flush with the valve body, then it's a dead indicator that there's a fault with the long-term damage and the wear and tear of this particular part. So you may ask, well, what's the solution? And the solution is we replace it with this aftermarket part, which is a much more finely manufactured part. It's actually made out of stainless steel, and that replaces the aluminium part. But when it's correctly located, it provides the right tension on this spring to locate the cylinder inside the port, which then in theory, if we've diagnosed it correctly, and you diagnose it correctly if you're using this information to help yourself, will fix the fault code for the line pressure problem and hopefully reduce any other problems that are associated with it. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and that gives you a bit of an idea. But one thing I want to draw your attention of is when you pull all this apart, be very, very careful, because little things like there's a plastic ball that sits in there. This steel ball here actually sits in there and is under tension when it's all sandwiched together. So when you pull it all apart, make sure you're very, very careful, because it's very easy for these things to be lost. And of course, the way it all goes back together is just as important. So for today, that's all we're going to talk about this, but it is important to make sure you understand how the rest of your transmission operates. Check out our other videos. There is a playlist on this channel where you can look at all the videos specific to the transmission or the SST transmission in the Mitsubishi range of models. And of course, there's a whole lot of information that we can provide you with technical support. But here in Sydney, we do a lot of the repairs on these transmissions. So whether you're interstate, you want to ship your transmission to us, or you want to bring your car into us for a diagnosis, we can help you that as well. But for today, my name is Brett Middleton. I really hope this video has helped you. Thanks for watching.